And welcome to this Wednesday edition of Hannity. And in just a moment, I will be joined by former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. But we begin tonight with brand new indications that President Barack Obama's re-election chances in 2012 are dwindling. Now, according to a CNN poll, a majority of Americans expect the president to lose his re-election bid next November. Only 46% of those polled believe he will win a second term. Now, those dismal numbers could be the result of growing opposition to the administration's handling of the economy. On the federal budget deficit, the president's approval rating has dropped to an all-new low. Only 27% approve of his handling of this monstrous deficit, while 68% now disapprove. Now, since November, that number has been clearly trending in the wrong direction for the White House. And guess what else could soon fire up American taxpayers? A massive federal bailout to help states pay for unemployment insurance. Now, under the administration's plan, states that borrowed billions from Uncle Sam to pay for unemployment will not have to pay interest for 2 years. However, and this is a big however, to pay for the short-term suspension of interest rates, it will be businesses that will be hit in the long term. According to the Washington Post, starting in 2014, Obama would target companies for sharply higher payroll taxes to help states replenish their depleted unemployment funds and repay their debts to Washington. So we have a growing deficit and tax hikes on the horizon. So how is this all likely to play out for the president in 2012 in that race? Here with reaction and analysis, former Alaska Governor, Fox News contributor Sarah Palin. You know, Governor, I don't get it. The White House doesn't get it. Again, in 2 years, we have the issue of raising taxes on small business. Now they're going to tax small business here. You know, what part of this is not going to help the economy do you think they don't get?
Well, that is why those poll numbers they're reflective of the public's perception of what's really going on here. Yeah, the Obama policies really lack any kind of soundness when you consider that just growing more government and now an idea of bailing out states, that kind of is going to be the answer to these problems. And no, those poll numbers reflect that Americans at this point are saying, nah, enough is enough. You know, this ain't our first rodeo. After 2 years of failed leftist policies, we're not believing that growing more government and then taxing businesses and taxing the people, and that'll hit in about 2014, that's the answer to these problems.
What did you think with the president? Now, here's the Chamber of Commerce among the long list of people that this president has attacked. And then he says, talks to them and talks about them and lectures the chamber about how business has a moral obligation basically to redistribute the wealth. What did you think of those comments?
Yeah, that's exactly what I believe that suggestion was that businesses, you know, it's up to you to allow government to take more from you and then we'll distribute it according to politicians' priorities. And that's absolutely ridiculous. What the chamber needs to do and what members of Congress need to do is understand that now's your opportunity. You don't have to capitulate. You have the public will on your side. The public that is saying via these poll numbers saying, no, we don't trust Obama on the economy, on how these bailouts are supposed to work and how future tax increases are supposed to work. We won't capitulate. Instead, Congress needs to cut spending. Businesses, they need to be able to keep more of what it is that they're earning so they can reinvest and hire more people, and that gets the economy moving again. There's no need to capitulate.
Yeah, what do you make? Are we deceiving the American people, for example, with the jobless numbers? Because when you look at, we stop counting people after they've been on unemployment for a period of time and they stop looking for work. I mean, so when we look at that real unemployment number at 17%, are those numbers deceptive? Because I forgot which commentator I was reading today is saying, hey, if the unemployment number is down below 8%, in other words, people start giving up looking for work in higher numbers and the unemployment rate number goes down, does that help the president in his re-election attempt in 2012?
Well, tweaking those numbers, they would evidently assume that they'll help the president in a re-election bid. But the reality is it's at least a 17% underemployment rate that we're facing. These are historic numbers. And the policies that the president, 2 years in now, is still believing that Americans are going to accept are not being accepted. Again, Sean, that's why we go back to those poll numbers that show that his numbers are in the tank when it comes to these economic issues that he believes all come back to growing government being the answer. Why the American public is saying absolutely no more federal overreach and overtaxation and overregulation. That's not going to be the answer.
The president